So good to go.
Yeah.
Right. You can ask for feedback, but is there anything you would make changes to the film that you just witnessed?
Do you want to get you?
Yeah. First off, why did you go with the recast?
The recast of it's because in the Dean, because we went further down, you know, to like more of the woodland, and it was like more natural environment to like easily get lost, especially with like the dark areas. Because you'll notice in the film where it gets darker in specific areas of the film where it's like the events start occurring. So it's obviously, if you ever play the game Dead by Daylight, like everything goes much more darker, and there's always usually the environment just changes when the killer's around you. So I try to go for.
Yeah. Well, one thing I probably wanted more of, it was just more shots around the woodland area instead of just Willem's face.
Just more to show off more of the environment around. Yeah.
Something I just wanted to, like I noticed was, with the text explaining like what happened in between, it didn't feel very. It felt because it didn't feel like it was
found footage sort of film.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it was building the world. It felt more like it was explaining what was happening. And like, because I thought like since it was found by police, there was a potential to like have a police report like file 6, file 7.
Yeah.
People getting off.
I like the natural dialogue between the two. It was more like they were just like probably just lovers like probably
More of a natural talk sort of thing rather than a scripted.
No, yeah, it worked in that sense. I think the one thing it lacked was like sound effects. Like for example, when Matthew says like, "Oh, there's something over there," I just heard it. It's like maybe an audio cue to show that would be great. Or like when Willem is character's killed, I presume, when the camera drops. Then there's like the glitchy text on screen. There could be like more of like a glitch sound effect in the background, or like maybe some screaming or something scary in the background, and like even just like some like slow like build up music, like those moments could be great, because I feel like sound effects really add to scariness.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I think I like the atmospheric sounds it has with the birds chirping in the background. I don't know if that's recorded on the site or not.
Yeah, I was just there at the time we were down there.
Yeah, there was one point where the birds chirped loot twice from the same clip. Then almost all of it was good, but there's just one small like thing that I think could be improved on is the text itself, because the font, it's very
just basic.
Yeah, I feel like you could go for a different font and maybe add some effects to it. So maybe a typewriter effect. I don't know, I wouldn't say typewriter, maybe play around and see what they all look like.
Yeah.
There was, I think, maybe one more thing I just wanted to mention, which is that in the police like investigation seeing the body, one of the bit shots is out of focus. And
Yeah, where it shows you Matthew and Young, and it's just like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some. I really like how realistic the acting was. I've got 2 things to point out. So, I like how Willem was quite energetic, and the stuttering in the sentences made it sound realistic and not like sound scripted. But also when Willem fell, so it's like Matthew did a good job here too. But like Willem, when he fell, I like how he's
because he actually hurt himself.
Genuinely, like I think that might have helped because he didn't. His main focus wasn't the camera. He never really looks at the camera, and even like the lighting on his face, like it's completely pitched out. It's like it's imperfect. Like obviously he's fallen over and he's checking his body and stuff. And I really like the realism, like the imperfect acting. You know, it really does sell it. Yeah.
I disagree with you. I liked how you didn't have music in it because I feel like it was more realistic for found footage, but I do think you could put some more atmospheric sound effects in.
Yeah, it's understandable.
I think something maybe worth mentioning is in the final frame with the text on the screen, it is saying something. However, it's a bit hard to tell what it's saying because of like the way it's like laid out.
Yeah, I was debating on like because right. This part's meant to say I'm here because obviously Matthew's dead. Obviously it's like him trying to call out because him trying to fight like the entity sort of thing. Then you got the entity part there. That's Matthew where it says help me, but it's more of like a I don't know who it said, but about the glitch text. There's you. That's what it's meant to be. So it's like Matthew's part of it, as well as the entity's like there with him. Obviously, it's like stole the soul basically, and obviously he's trying to call out for help.
I think the lack of difference between the texts made it a bit difficult to see.
Yeah, it's understandable.
You spelled my name wrong. The entire thing.
Oh.
You also didn't credit me on me in the end.
Oh,
I'll be the one with you.
Shiznits.
But,
Sorry.
one final thing, you know how you mentioned about the darkness? I like that idea, like that the entity gets darker. But personally, I didn't notice it getting darker at all. So maybe just adding like an overlay of like a color or something, and then like changing it every time like it gets creepier. Maybe that could help emphasize your point for the darkness. Because I do like that one.
Yeah.
I quite like the intro, how you had like it go from like negative back to normal and then back to negative again. Like, as you had the text popping up. I quite like that. And then I feel like the text, just the last bit of text before the credits start rolling was a bit fast. I didn't really get to read it before I went off the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really up to me. I think that's the best thing to say.
Any more?
I thought the grammar in the some of the text entries were like not great. Like mainly like the last text entry.
Could be worded more better than
Yeah.
those.
Also, it's like the first letters weren't capitalized. And you know, it's kind of. It's just